right, good day, gents, and welcome to another episode of RoadFS Detail Memoirs, where we're bringing phenomenal business owners to help you grow and empower your business. My name's Jody.
I'm Puzey, and as always, we're sponsored by RoadFS, software that drives your business. Quick reminder, get into our giveaway to win boxes of free Buff and Shine pads and a bunch of other goodies, free software from us. Get a hold of us. Social media, hashtag Reflection Artist, hashtag RoadFS, and hashtag Buff and Shine Manufacturing. Go to our social media on YouTube and subscribe to our channel for Memoirs, and you're in the drawing.
Well, good morning. We are super excited. I've actually wanted to get Ben on the show for a long time, so welcome, Ben.
Welcome. Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, no, it's we're super excited because you are doing amazing things with your wife. You guys are super eco-conscious, and you guys are rolling out what I think is the only mobile solution for detailers to power their rigs with solar, correct?
I have not. I've met a couple guys who have started doing it, but no one that's doing it for people.
So let's talk about how it came about, because obviously you and your wife are very eco-conscious. And for a couple of years now, I've been watching you guys build these solar systems. So let's talk about how you came up with the idea and how you've kind of evolved the business over time around your passion.
Well, it started with detailing. In 2010, I opened Green Clean Detail in Florida, and I ran it off of vegetable oil in an old diesel truck.
Wow.
Yeah, I bought a non-working farm truck, made it run, converted it to vegetable oil, and put a high output alternator in it, and that ran all of my equipment all day. So just kick into high idle and go. It was super cool. It became a federal felony for highway use tax evasion, much like farm diesel, and had to stop doing that. So we switched to solar because I was already set up for the alternator on 12 volt. I just had to change the charging method. So we put solar panels up, and basically through trial and error and finding out what worked and what didn't work over the years, I made it super simple and wanted to bring it to everybody. So you don't have to buy gasoline anymore. At least for your generator, you still got to run the car, unless you buy an electric car.
Unless you buy an electric. Yeah, I keep waiting for Rivian to come out with their new truck, the competitor to Tesla. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, I actually work out of a Nissan Leaf. I gutted the whole interior, and I carry 30 gallons of raw water, 5 gallons of greaser, and 5 gallons of waterless wash, all on on-demand sprayers.
Wow, that's cool.
It's great for around town. So like it would get 90 miles to a charge. So that's enough to go around and do what you have to do day to day. And it would be charged by the morning and ready to go.
Yeah. So we actually got to meet you at Mobile Tech Expo a couple of years ago, and it was just cool. We just, really kind of connected with what you're doing and went over there, and your son was there, and he was having a blast handing out stickers. And so the concept is really awesome, but I think people don't understand until they see, they go to your social media for Narwhal and go look at some of the setups. They're fantastic. I know some of the guys you've done setups for there. We'll put some up there that the whole entire trailer or van or car or whatever you've outfitted, it's kind of a whole self-contained system that allows a detailer to go out and not spend a lot of extra money and time fueling up and doing all that stuff. So obviously there's the intrinsic value of doing this with the environment and the fuel costs and everything, but I know there's some other values that your customers that a couple guys have talked to me about. But what do you hear from them as far as the other values beyond just the fuel and the environment? What are the values they're seeing out of it?
It's investing in yourself. It's not shelling out money every day to fuel up your generator, or the time wasted in fueling it or running out of fuel and leaving a neighborhood to go to a gas station to go get more, and just having power that you harvested. You didn't create it, but it just simplifies the entire process. When the van got rear-ended, I had to switch to a rental truck and a generator, and that was a 3-month nightmare. I don't know how these guys still do it.
Yeah.
So how, let's talk about the install process. What is it pretty easy to do? I mean, how's that work for you?
It's easy and scary. It's kind of like working on a $500,000 car. You're dealing with a lot of electricity. The batteries that we use, you can technically weld with. They have enough reserve current in. So it's not hard. I get it done in about a day. So you're not losing too much work time and you're ready to roll the next day.
Right.
For my clients, it's super easy. It's
Yeah.
some of them give me the van and they're like, here, go do this. I have to go to work. And some of them hang out and watch it all happen. And
Yep.
Yeah,
it's like detailing. Some people want to watch and some people want to pay you once a year and never see you again.
Yeah, I was looking at your website and you have 3 different systems. You have the Leviathan, you have the Tusk, and one other one. I can't remember the name of
the pup. We really concentrated on the pup, which stands for personal utility power. And basically that converts you. When we were still in Pensacola, I had a fabricator and we were able to make trailers and the boxes to go in there. And being on the road, we've just been converting what detailers have, whether it be a van or a truck or a trailer or an RV if you're not trying to work off of it, you're just trying to live.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
The question I think a lot of people have that I know you and I've already asked this question in person, but explain one of the big questions people have is, well, I could just do this myself. I can just source all the stuff, but explain to them why it's so much easier to take the knowledge that you already have gained from multiple installs and do this.
I mean, it's real easy to wash a car. Anybody can do it, but
yeah,
you can screw it up pretty quickly.
Exactly. That's the exact
like
answer.
I said, it's a lot of power. Power inverters are different. There's so many different solar panels on the market, ranging from, I want to say like 11% to 25% efficiency. Cable knowledge is important, so you don't melt wires and set your livelihood on fire. It's mostly the fire why you shouldn't do it yourself.
Mostly the flames, the death and dismemberment. No, and I think that's exactly what I was hoping, because that's the same statement you and I, when we were talking in Vegas, that you had said, is that it's the same mentality of everybody can wash a car, right? It is a lot of times, especially in this situation, it's better to take the knowledge that you already have. Believe it or not, when we first started our company, we were involved in solar. We were going out to the Idaho State Police Department, and they were outfitting the cruisers with a very thin photovoltaic system that would sit on there and it would charge for the radios and the computers and everything, because the high output alternators, it was killing them. So we were involved in some of that solar stuff, and like you're saying, the charge controllers and the way that it decides which batteries it's going to focus the charge to first, or which is the most important. All of that stuff has a lot of background knowledge that you've already got, that you've already dealt with, that people don't have to, go out and waste their time
learn the hard way. Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, like when you guys have been at shows like Mobile Tech Expo and stuff, just seeing the setup and the way you've already got it figured out to where you can come in and, like you said, in a weekend. And when you leave, I think the coolest thing, and one of the guys we talked to, I think it might have been Rory Horton, California. It was like, he's like, it's weird because it's already charging. By the time you get it back, it's done. It's already working. You don't flip a switch. You don't do anything. It's just like, okay, well, here's the trailer. It's ready to go. Start polishing.
Yeah, that's part of why I can do a 50% deposit for equipment, and then the rest whenever you're happy with how it works. Because whenever I'm done, you can turn on all your equipment and be like, oh, I don't have to listen to a generator anymore, or the pressure washer drone on. This is a lot better.
Yeah. So
With smell.
how's it been? I remember talking to Aaron, when you guys were first starting this journey together. And it was interesting. She goes, man, he's so passionate about it. I don't see all of the pieces that he sees yet, but I'm willing to go with him on this journey. And I think that is critical for any business, right? A lot of times we don't necessarily have the entire picture, but you as a business owner that also had a passion for eco-friendly solutions said, you know what, I can bring something to market that will have an impact that my family can journey with me. And I love that it's a family journey.
It's been really cool. We've been all over the country doing installs, and it gets trying at times being in, what are we, 25 by 8, so 100 something square feet. It's not easy all the time, but
No.
having the whole country as your backyard and meeting people who, whether they're motivated by saving money or saving the environment, like just their passion behind what they do is really rewarding. And watching them see, oh, I've been doing it this way this whole time. It doesn't have to be this way anymore.
Yeah. And for me particularly, and I've always had kind of me and one of the other owners have been talking for years and years and years about different types of alternative energy, whether it was wind power or vegetable oil and diesels, and solar power. And I've got some solar powered stuff up at a property I have up in the hills that, for a while we had an RV up there and we were just completely off the grid because there was no well, there was no power. We could stay up there all the time. And people weren't, we're like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, oh, we have a single panel. I mean, it charges the battery every single day, whether it's, sunshine, it doesn't matter. And obviously this, but the direct sunlight's not necessarily the best. It's also the indirect sunlight that you get actually more of a charge if it's a little bit diffused. So, people, I think it's interesting the first time you see or use solar, it is such a weird feeling because you plug in the inverter, you plug in the charge controller, and your brain goes, I want to hear a noise, or I need to turn a key, or I need to hit the pedal or something, and you go, oh, it's already working. And there's nothing you do. And I think that kind of freaks people out. But then once you accept that and you look at it, you're like, this is fantastic. This is it's totally a passive system. You just have to exist and it works. And I think that especially in the case of detailers, particularly where they're going out on the road and they have a setup, and I hear people on the forums all the time, do you ask the homeowners if you can use their power, or how do you do this, or what do you do? And I'm like, you don't have to do any of that.
Talk to Ben.
Get a setup going. Because
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's even when I was working, I would have homeowners be like, oh, do you need a plug in? And I go through the whole thing of, no, I'm good. In my little tiny car, I have all the power I need. And they're like, oh, well, if a cloud comes over, you'll be fine. But that's not how solar works. And it is a weird acceptance of the fact that it's just always there. But I've done it, I guess in 2015, I switched over to solar. And then for the last 8 months, we've survived on the road. I think we've started the generator once just to make sure it still works.
Now you just need to convert your RV to all electric. That'd be good. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that was the dream. I got tired of waiting on them coming out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So I just swallowed that 10 mile a gallon pill. And
it's a bit much to swallow. And I think one of the things, you guys you talked about, direct sunlight is not the big thing. But on your Instagram, you have a great slide that talks about the cost advantages of going solar. And I'm like, I'd never seen it laid out the way you had it. And to me, it makes so much sense, not only from an eco-responsibility side of things, but also just from the financials of running your business. it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I sat down and figured it out, because I was just a detailer and worked my way to that, and I sat down and looked at everything and then did all the math, and I was like, oh wow, that's intense. I haven't spent any money on this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, obviously there's an initial cost, but there's an initial cost to everything. You buy a polisher, it has a lifetime. It's only going to last so long, and there's a cost involved in it. And people could do the math. They could take that polisher and figure out how many cars and how long it lasts and everything, and figure out the cost of that. But they don't, because it's a tool of the trade. You have to have it. And I think people a lot of times will overlook something like this because it's not required, but it just totally makes sense. It's not. I think if you talk to the people that, well, you have talked to the people, but you talk to the people that have had it installed, and they'll say the same thing. Like they'll think, oh, there's not even a question. This is something that you just have to do because, there's Royer stuff right there. He loves it. I mean, he's posted.
Royer's paying $4.20 a gallon for gas. I would love it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even when I was in South Carolina doing a system, and I was in South Carolina, I think it was $1.90 for gas, and he was thrilled just to eliminate the headache and the employee component. Like I've heard a lot of horror stories of people being like, I showed up to the job site, generator sitting on the pavement outside of its cage, running away. They have no idea why it's not in the van, and
yeah.
You don't have to trust anybody to do anything except flip a switch.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yep.
So one of the questions that I've had in the back of my head is, you guys are literally driving around the country and installing for these customers. Do you have any plans of, training extensions of you so that you can scale the solar vision even further?
Yes. Eventually we're going to settle down. I would like to start detailing again, and we would like to build basically a training center where you could come with your van and get it equipped and either learn how to detail completely, or just learn the intricacies of solar and how you have to treat it differently, rather than forgetting to turn off your shop vac for an hour while you're not using it. And
yeah,
exactly.
Not being able to start your pressure washer towards the end of it.
So what's been the biggest challenge for you in building your company? Has it been education? Has it been what has been the biggest challenge? Adoption?
Yeah, hearts and minds. Most people happy to pour gas, and they've done it their whole life. Like a generator is part of working mobily, and there's been some very aggressive pushback. But I would say that's the biggest challenge, is just getting people to accept it. For mobile tech this year, I did plan on bringing the Leaf and having it in a containment pool, like a wash container.
Yeah.
So people could use the pressure washer, use the vacuum, use the polisher on the car, and get it that hands-on feel that it works. But maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Maybe Vegas.
August. Yeah.
Right.
We're hoping, man. I think, it's interesting because 2020 has forced us to really evaluate how we're doing business. And we've gotten creative, and we've tapped into solutions that maybe we've known are a good idea. We've wanted to do it, but for whatever reason, the old way of doing things is comfortable. And I think to your point about a lot of the adoption towards solar is it's what they know, right? I'll go get some gas, I'll get my generator, and it's what I know. But if we can push a new vision of doing business a better way, a more eco-friendly way, man, what kind of legacy and impact can we not only have on the business that we're touching, the customers that we're touching, but also on our kids and their kids?
It's also like your personal health. Like the guys in the vans, you're breathing your generator fumes after you're done with the car. driving to the next site.
Right.
Like,
Nothing
it's
like a fume hangover.
it was nice in the winter though, when you're young and stupid and didn't care. You got back in the van, it was nice and warm.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is most people don't even think about stuff like that. They have no problem wearing a mask or putting on gloves when they're polishing metal because, oh my gosh, you don't want to get all those metal particulates in your system. But then I'm going to pull the mask off, take the gloves off, jump in the van, and the generator's in the back, and you're breathing all that stuff, and that is not. Your lungs are very, very sensitive. They're just as sensitive to that as they are to dust and particulates.
Yeah, it's you definitely become more sensitive to it without noticing it. Like,
So big question people have is on you, and obviously you have different levels. You work with your clients. From a personal assessment, you're an unbelievably approachable, personable guy, and somebody could just walk up and ask you a question. There's no doubt.
it's weird.
But I'm sure most people are going to say, okay, so how much does this cost? So, and I know that's a really loaded question, but what are your ranges of cost for somebody to outfit either a small trailer, a van,
It really boils down to batteries and how much how much power you use. If you have two guys doing 4 details a day, you're going to use more power than one guy doing 2 or a couple washes a day.
Right.
So I like to start at around 4,000, totally installed, everything from panels to plug, and that'll run all of your equipment. Technically, it gives you 6,000 running watts, 12,000 peak, and enough power to last you through 8-10 hours of detailing every day.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
and I think that's, if you think about that, that's less money than going out and buying a different van or a different trailer. I mean, an enclosed trailer, you can get a pretty decent one for about half of that. So if you got a decent enclosed trailer and you install, $2,600 for a trailer, $4,000 for the batteries and the solar, and have you install it, you've got $6,000 into something that is going to make you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the lifetime of these things, I don't think that's that. The other thing that people don't realize is the life of this equipment is huge. I mean, what is it, like 25 years or something?
Yeah, the panels are good for 25 years. At the end of that, they're rated to 80% of their output.
Wow.
Right. So when you do the math on that, that's unbelievable.
Jeez. Yeah, that's
$4,000, 25 years. That is a huge thing. Whereas if you're taking something like a polisher that's $300 or $400 and you're not going to get 10 years out of it with heavy use, you see people go through them in a couple of years. The cost compared to the not just the value, but the actual payback. I think that's a big difference. It's not just a value of, I invested in this equipment and it's gonna pay. There is an unbelievable value in doing that because it's done. As soon as you've paid for it, as soon as it's installed, it starts not taking money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there you go. Put Sarah's comment.
On that same slide on the Instagram, I had a chart of if you had to replace the batteries every year from running it too hard, leaving it on overnight, disrespecting the batteries, and replacing the batteries every year, it takes about a year or 2 to equal out buying a generator once and filling it with gas versus solar. And I get 2 to 3 years out of lead acid batteries.
Yeah.
Lithium lasts about 8 to 10, depending on how hard you use them.
Wow.
Yep. And then I don't think people realize, because I heard somebody's argument against it was, well, the batteries hurt the environment. They don't realize that lead acid batteries are 100% recyclable. Every single component of a lead acid battery is recyclable.
They're 97% recyclable.
But compared to other products, that is unbelievable. I mean, if you
they just take them apart, recondition them, and it's basically a closed loop system.
Yeah, so it's recyclable. Everything in there, and it blows me away because the arguments against it are so minute compared to the arguments for doing something like this. So
that's great. So, man, we absolutely love what you're doing, and we appreciate your passion, your energy. I love that your Aaron's and your son is on the journey with you, in your small little way, having an impact on the world. We really buy into your vision. So how do people find you guys?
We're on Instagram and Facebook. It's Sol Narwhal, SOLNARWHAL. And then solnarwhal.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me. Shoot me a message and I'll get back to you, because we're more times than not, we're not in cell reception. And I kind of like it that way, but I'll get back to you.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good. So one last question before we let you go. How did you come up with the name and logo for Narwhal?
When we started it, we were on a trip to Washington, D.C. My son had a poster in the American Geophysicist Union conference they were doing there. And as a part of his participation, everyone was given wristbands to go to the Smithsonian at night. And we picked the Nature Museum, and they had all the curators there. And we were in the Narwhal exhibit talking to this really old guy about narwhals. And then after like 30 minutes, realized he's the person on the wall. And he had been in the Arctic for years chasing these animals. And we needed something that stuck, and they were just really cool animals. And on the trip back home from DC to Florida, it just kind of came into fruition.
Oh, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, man. Please extend our appreciation to Aaron for letting us have some of your time away, on the grid instead of being off the grid.
Only barely. We're still in a parking lot.
That's good. So now we really appreciate those that are tuning in. Thank you guys for joining us every week. Please make sure to go check out Sol Narwhal on Instagram and the website. Check them out. I mean, it is a great investment, not only in the world, the earth, ecosystem, all that stuff, but also in your business. And we just love what they're doing. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Love talking to you every time. I just think it's cool. I'd love to hang out with you again. Hopefully we can get back to MT or something where we can be in person again.
Yeah, hopefully we'll all get to see each other again. That would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Those of you guys that are tuning in, thank you guys so much for joining us every week. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share on Instagram and your other social media using the hashtag RoadFS, hashtag Reflection Artists, and hashtag Buff and Shine. And this week, let's hashtag Sol Narwhal. Let's give some solar love out there. So
there you go.
Thank you so much, man. We will check you guys same time
next week.
See ya.
See you later.